In the aftermath of the bloodiest battle in history, they emerged as the last line of defense. They were called by many names: mercenaries, heroes, legends. But to those who knew them, they were simply soldier, the last remaining elites who survived the horrors of D-Day. Their fate brought them to Novo, a city teetering on the brink of collapse. It was there that they witnessed the downfall of civilization as they once knew it. The chaos that ensued left only 4 of the deadly dozen alive. But with their survival come a new mission. They swore an oath to protect the innocent and to fight off all that threatened the fragile peace. Now, in a world where hope is scarce and fear is ever present, the Deadly Dozen stand tall. Their unwavering courage and unbreakable wills make them the greatest hope for a brighter future. Thought they may be outnumbered and outgunned, they will never surrender. For they are not just soldiers, they are legend in the making. They were a beacon of hope, as a symbol of strength in the world that had crumbled. With every step they took, the ground shook as they marched forwards with a fierce determination to protect the innocent. Their battles were not just fought on the streets of Novo, but in the heart of Cherno. They were the ones who showed that humanity still existed in this new dark world. As they traveled from one community to the next, their reputation preceded them, their deeds known far and wide. They were more than just providers of resources. They were bringers of light in a world that had been consumed by darkness. Their weapons were not just tools of destruction, but symbol of hope that they carried with them everywhere they went. For those who dared to threaten the communities they had sworn to protect, there was no mercy. The Deadly Dozen struck with vengeance, their wrath like a storm that rained down upon their enemies. For they knew that in a world where death was a constant companion, for life was a precious gift that must be safeguarded at all cost. Their duties were never-ending. They scoured the streets, always vigilant for any sign of danger. In a world without technology, they had no TV or internet, but their deeds and bravery spread like wildfire across the land. They established trades routes for the communities, braving the treacherous unknown to ensure safe passage for all. When confronted with strangers, they always showed kindness, but not every stranger was so benevolent. There were times when they had to do what they must to survive and protect those who depended on them. For they knew that their survival meant hope for hundreds of others, and they would stop at nothing to keep that hope alive. They never asked for any payment or title from the communities or strangers they met along their travels. They didn't want to be called heroes or be praised. They were just simple human beings who shared stories, told jokes, and even fell in love. But their actions spoke louder than words. They provided resources, protection, and hope to all those they encountered. One day they heard of a new community forming in Alter. Winter was coming, and they knew they had to travel south to bring resources to the new community. The journey was dangerous, and temperatures could drop to 40 degrees Celsius. But they were determined to help, and so they set out on foot. 10 days later, they reached Alter at nightfall. They made camp on the hills by the radio tower and tried to contact the new community, but to no avail. As they rested by the fire, they knew they had to continue their journey at sunrise. They arrived at the gates of the new community at around 3 p.m., tired and hungry, but determined to help. One of them shouted, "We are from the north. We are Deadly Dozen, and we come bearing gifts of resources, tools, and weapons. Our mission is to help all new communities establish themselves and emerge victorious in the fight against the dead." Their words echoed through the air, and the people of Alter looked in awe. They never heard of the Deadly Dozen before, but their confidence and determination were undeniable. At the top of the watchtower, a woman with a microphone nervously asked, "How do we know you don't want to harm us?" One of the Deadly Dozen stepped forwards and confidently replied, "We're not here to harm you. We bring food, tools, plans, and weapons in this packaged. We'll leave it by the gate. Step back. Check it out. It's all yours." The group took a few steps back from the gate as they watched the woman and her companions discussing amongst themselves. Suddenly, the woman's voice boomed over the microphone. "That's as far enough!" The gate slowly creaked open as two men emerged, both carrying guns, and cautiously approached the package left by the Deadly Dozen. After inspecting the content and finding them to be genuine, the men signaled for the rest of the community to come out and greet their new allies. They just dragged the package inside. Then, after about 10 minutes, the woman comes through the gates and says, "Come in." They were delighted and went inside. As the Deadly Dozen walked through the camp, they couldn't shake off the eerie feeling that something is off. Some members welcomed them with open arms, but others seemed distant, even hostile. They had never encountered such a reaction before, and it made them uneasy. Despite the odd reception, they remained determined to help the community prepare for the harsh winter that was approaching. They offered their expertise in securing the town, sharing their resources, and even suggested a safe route to their town Novo. However, the woman in charge seemed more interested in the resources and routes than in their offer to help. The Deadly Dozen couldn't help but feel that they were being used for their knowledge and supplies. After spending some time, they decided to head back to Novo and wait for the woman to contact them over the radio. As they left the community, they couldn't shake the feeling that they had just entered a dangerous and unpredictable situation. Little did they know their visit would have lasting consequences for both the Deadly Dozen and the community in Alter. As the Deadly Dozen were leaving, two young boys approached them. One named Dave and the other Josh, and from their conversation, it was clear that they were up to no good. One spoke like a misfit, while the other acted like a delinquent. The group couldn't shake the feeling that something was off about this community. Were they making a mistake by trusting them with their resources and weapons? As they journeyed back, they traveled along the coast, passing by their secret stash of countless caches scattered through the land. They had encountered all sorts of dangers on their travels, but with